all some people need to see is this to convince them that you're a Satanist or a Freemason, or in the case of Geraldo Rivera, a white supremacist.
I found the articles that had the pictures of him giving the white supremacy sign on the QT. I got the picture here. You're not joking.
Well, if that's the case, doesn't this picture right here prove that Geraldo is into white supremacy?
Tryna catch me riding dirty. Tryna catch me riding dirty.
Before we get into this video, I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, BackupSolarBank.com. What you got here is a beefy backup power bank that can be powered by the sun and through a regular wall outlet. It has a built-in LED flashlight and SOS strobe light features that can be seen far away, a high battery capacity of 20,000 milliamp hours, wireless charging that automatically recognizes most devices, and it has a bi-directional fast charging Type-C port, USB port, and a USB QC 3.0 fast charging output port, which can charge 3 devices at the same time. Do yourself a favor and grab a couple of them for you and your friends. My discount link is in the description below.
Now back into the cesspool with the 5. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so you got the 5. There's 5 people sitting at this table. They try to set it up where there's 4 Republican or right-leaning pundits and 1 left-leaning pundit. In this case, it's Geraldo Rivera. Check this out.
The verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse double murder trial could come at any moment. Inside the courtroom right now, a jury of 7 women and 5 men are deliberating the charges against Rittenhouse. Earlier today, the 18-year-old randomly picking the group of people who will decide his fate. Outside, protesters are gathering on the steps of the courthouse and the National Guard on standby in the city of Kenosha as local officials call for calm when the verdict comes down. The key issue for the jurors to decide, was Rittenhouse acting in self-defense, or did he intend to kill 2 people and wound another? Prosecutors say Rittenhouse was a vigilante and expecting violence, while the defense making the case that he was attacked while trying to protect the community.
Everybody takes a beating sometimes, right? Sometimes you get in a scuffle and maybe you do get hurt a little bit. That doesn't mean you get to start plugging people with your Full Metal Jacket AR-15.
What the defendant wants you to believe is that because he's the one who brought the gun, he gets to kill. When the defendant provokes the incident, he loses the right to self-defense.
Kyle was a 17-year-old kid out there trying to help this community. But the district attorney's office is marching forward with this case because they need somebody to be responsible. Kyle Rittenhouse's behavior was protected under the law of the state of Wisconsin, the law of self-defense.
And the media coverage of this case facing a new scrutiny for a rush to judgment before the facts came out.
They're having a protest in another state, and he takes it upon himself to go there, you know, and then he says it's self-defense. No.
Crying on the witness stand like he's some poor babe in the woods, and he just happened to cross state lines, break gun laws.
On cross-examination, what we saw was, I thought, a very rehearsed Kyle Rittenhouse.
If a black kid did that, killed 2 people and injured another person, how would America feel about that?
These are the victims. These are the people that people ought to...
God, this is the left versus right paradigm lie that I despise, man. They want us at each other's throat. The people who are watching the MSLSD and the Joy Bears of The View and the Donald Lamones, and then on the other side watching the Tucker Carlsons and the Sean Hannitys of this world. And then you go out in your community and you wonder why there's so much friction and so much tension. Because people immerse themselves in this kind of stuff. That's why we watch this, so we can expose it. Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. When you expose it and you get it on the table, you can deal with it. That's why I'm not in Kyle Rittenhouse's corner. I'll never be in a person's corner, because that's drinking the Kool-Aid, that's checking yourself into the cult of personality, that's numbing your senses, that's suspending critical thinking, and we don't need that at this juncture. We need to get out there and we need to tell people what the truth is. And the way you tell people the truth is by not immersing yourself in and believing the lie and all these freaking personalities. You know they're trying to race bait you. You know they're trying to divide you. What does race have anything to do with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing? Thank God there was no black people that died. That's ridiculous. People go, Black Lives Matter. Well, why are you out here? Because black people are disproportionately killed by law enforcement. Really? I'm not seeing that in the statistics. It looks like white people are being killed, but you don't see white people getting out in the street going, white lives matter. I mean, and then people get all bent out of shape when you have a shirt like this, human lives matter. It's like, what did you just do? You just cast dispersion and evil on our entire movement. It's like, aren't you saying that same thing? Why are you capitalizing on the color of your skin? Isn't it about the content of character? Who cares what color your skin is or what demographic you come from or who your parents were or what your pedigree is? Doesn't it matter what kind of person you are? And you're not a good person if you claim to be a protester and you're burning stuff down in a city that's not yours or even a city that is yours. You're not a good person when you pulled that ATM out of there and you got hammers trying to crack it open. You're not a good person when you're flipping cars and burning tires and busting windows and shutting down businesses, all in the name of Black Lives Matter. That's why I applaud when those people at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, when they got wind that BLM and Antifa were about to come through their town, and they all got together, most of them armed, and I mean heavily armed, and they didn't have any kind of problems. Why? Because an armed society is a polite society. But fake stream media wants you to think the exact opposite. They want you to freak out when you see a firearm. Well, I'll tell you what, when those Antifa and those BLM came in with their 3 flags and a bottle of water, and they watched their P's and Q's. They didn't get off the street. They didn't break any windows. There weren't any cars flipped, tires burning, blood flowing in the streets, rocks being launched, Molotov cocktails, none of that in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Nice and peaceful like. Here, you guys go ahead and protest. That's fine, but we're going to keep an eye on you. We're going to record you. We're going to stand by just in case something happens. And in my mind, that's what I believe Kyle Rittenhouse had in his mind. Did he have feelings of grandeur? Did he feel empowered when those cops said, hey, we appreciate what you guys are doing? Probably. If you think back to the time, some authority figure says, hey, you did a pretty good job. It kind of makes you feel good psychologically because that's a psychological operation. He probably had, hero complex or whatever. But isn't it a good thing to go, you know what? I'm sick of that city burned down. I'm going to go do something about it. Now, would it have been a good idea if he had training, if there was organization, maybe if they got all the militia in a room together and go, okay, guys, I'm going to write this one word on the chalkboard. This is the only word I want you to remember. This is what we're all about. De-escalation. Non-lethal means. If you get into trouble, call a buddy. We'll be there. We'll rally around. If things get really intense, we'll just make sure that we try to bring people down. We want to keep the people in the street. We're going to protect people. We're going to protect property. And yes, sometimes the mob has a mind of its own and there's only so much you can do. And then, like Patrick Henry said, you can't give up your force because once you give up your force, you're ruined. Sometimes you're going to have to use that force. But wouldn't it be a good idea to de-escalate before it gets to that situation? Then we don't have this stupid trial going on. I'm not so sure that everything that we're being told about what happened actually happened. For all we know, everything we know is filtered through mainstream media unless we were actually there. Everything. Did that guy really get his bicep blown off? Grosskreutz? Did he really get his bicep blown off? Did Rosenbaum really pass away? These are all just questions. Stranger things have happened. There have been people they said died before and didn't end up dying. There are things that they said ended up happened, but it didn't really go down that way. Weapons of mass destruction. We got to go over there and we got to kick their asses. And all of America goes, yeah, kick their asses. 500,000, 600,000 Iraqis died, and come to find out thought the weapons of mass destruction were there. Ha 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 ha. Well, they weren't over there. No weapons of mass destruction over there. Ha 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 ha. Never mind the fact that we spent trillions of taxpayer dollars. Never mind the fact that hundreds of thousands of people have died because of our freaking lie. Never mind the 59,000 people, American soldiers that died in the Vietnam War because of the Gulf of Tonkin lie. And the 1.5 to 3 million civilian casualties. Never mind that. All we need to know is that the military-industrial complex increased handsomely. So this is what I hate about the left versus right paradigm lie.
Remember the people who were hurt here, not the person who was crying on the stand.
Basically, what they're saying is, oh, it's okay to shoot white people, too.
Oh, my God.
Geraldo, let's start with you from a legal
Now listen to Geraldo Rivera here. Here we go.
perspective and somebody who's followed this case closely, and then we'll take it on the table, too.
Well, I think the verdict should, if the jurors stick to the law, result in an acquittal. I think once they dropped the less serious charges, it made the possibility of a clean sweep more likely. Why? Because self-defense is so powerful in Wisconsin particularly, and I think that it's pretty clear that this kid...
See, I hate that geographic stuff. Self-defense is so powerful in Wisconsin. It should be... This is America. This is our world. Self-defense should be powerful everywhere, not just in Wisconsin. It should be like this all across the board. There shouldn't be these peaks about, well, there's no self-defense clause over there in Georgia. Oh, it's real high over there in Wisconsin. Oh, it's not so great over there in Los Angeles. Come on.
However, I personally feel that he has been lionized way over the top, that he has been portrayed by half this country as a heroic youngster fighting for his community. I don't believe that at all. I think he watched too many Rambo movies. He's a kid that took an AR-15, took a machine gun to a riot. I think that it was...
He took a machine gun. I mean, guys, these guys do this for a living. There is no excuse to call what Kyle Rittenhouse had a machine gun. He took a machine gun to a riot. Mm-hmm.
Not a maching gun.
Whatever.
And he's too young to watch.
Whatever. No, facts matter. He's supposed to... Geraldo Rivera is supposed to be a journalist. So I agree with Greg Gutfeld getting on him about this. No, it's not whatever. It matters. You're going to hear Geraldo Rivera say something else here that's completely unsubstantiated, completely slandering Kyle Rittenhouse for no frickin' reason.
Watch Rambo.
AR-15. Then you don't have cable TV or direct TV?
You think Rambo made him do that?
But he's not on trial for those things.
My point is he will be acquitted. He should be acquitted. But I think that this is what is very distressing. And I made a point of telling my dear colleague here, we have to be careful not to root for an outcome in a criminal case. Let these jurors decide based on the facts and circumstances.
Well, you should root for the outcome of justice. You should hope justice will happen.
As they were presented, the legal evidence that was presented. I must say that well after my appearance here last week, I found the articles that had the pictures of him giving the white supremacy sign on the QT. I got the picture here. You're joking.
What, you actually believe this is a white supremacy sign?
What do you think it is?
It's okay. Holy
Including
crap.
the president.
Let it be.
That is, I don't know if this is all scripted. It could be, but let me make a point right here. When Geraldo does this, watch, we could freeze that right there and judge Geraldo Rivera using the same standard of judgment he just used on Kyle Rittenhouse. I could take a screenshot of this right here and put up a video and see, Geraldo Rivera is a part of Proud Boys. Geraldo Rivera, I know you guys aren't going to believe this, but there's clear evidence that he's a white supremacist. That's the judgment that he just used against Kyle Rittenhouse. Just evil. Just evil.
The white supremacy sign on the QT. I got the picture here.
Yeah, Photoshop a joint in his hand.
You're joking.
What, you actually believe this is a white supremacy sign?
What do you think it is?
It's okay. Holy
Including the
crap.
president.
Let it be. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. And let you ladies and gentlemen in the audience know better than I.
Oh no, what we know is you're a fool. You're a freaking fool to be judging like that, and you know better. You knew it wasn't a fully automatic firearm. You know that this can be taken multiple ways. Oh, that's 666. No, it's okay. No, it's the Proud Boys white supremacy symbol.
Because, as I said, I only came to this last week. But if indeed he is connected with the white
This is a joker.
That gives you an added
Joker.
layer
So
of
you're smearing
distress.
him again. You're smearing him with a lie.
Geraldo, they checked his phone. Geraldo,
What
they
is
checked
this?
his
What
phone.
is this?
All right,
Is that real?
Geraldo, they checked his phone.
He rips up the
That
tape.
doesn't
There was
make it
not
untrue.
one thing about militia or white supremacy on the phone. Not one. Okay? Checked his phone. Nothing on it. So that's that.
So it's just
so that's that,
it's just a
Geraldo.
coincidence.
So
Just a
that's
coincidence.
that. All right? Okay, Geraldo.
I'm saying,
this
I'm
is what
a
I'm
lawyer.
saying. And this
This
is
will be based on the facts.
And that's what we
He
want.
should be acquitted.
We want that.
Listen
and we
to
want
what I'm
justice.
saying.
I listen.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Wait, we're just responding to what you just
by
said.
the undertone.
Okay.
You say you're a lawyer, you're based on facts, and you bring up something about this.
And what is that? Means nothing to you?
Yes, means nothing.
All right, great.
I
hope you're
it's
right.
not a fact.
Like I said,
it's an opinion.
Maybe Gutfeld is right. Maybe Jesse's right.
Maybe. I'll show you.
Talk about building your house on the sand. Talk about a psychological operation. Talk about just utter nonsense.
Barack Obama going like this, okay?
Emmanuel Lewis was doing this.
Everyone
I brought
does
that.
it, all right?
And who was he standing with?
All right, let me get Katie.
You know, he's probably standing with Farrakhan, Geraldo.
We're going to get everybody.
He took a picture with Farrakhan, all right?
Anyway, I just wanted to show you that first part of the 5. That's just, the craziness just continues.
Hey guys, we know with the way things have been going, it can get really interesting really quick. So make sure you and your family have a long-term storable food supply. Support the channel and get $50 off with my link in the description while you still can.